That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You thought that I have forgotten, but no, we are actually in a barn. Those are birds you actually hear. And I was saving this song for this very moment to be the first video. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you for all of you that have been supporting me and given me the opportunity to get a place like this. I have all the instruments set up. I'm going to be making weekly originals for YouTube and the lessons to accompany them to show you how I'm putting it together for you subscribers on the website. We're also going to have rhythm section workshops. Yes, there will be a dead one. And we're going to have live concerts and streams here. I really appreciate you guys. I'm living a dream. This is Eyes of the World. Wish me luck. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a hard song and an incredible amount of fun. I encourage all of you to pick up the guitar and take this challenge. This is a deep dive. So here's what happens on the deep dives. It's not note for note, not solo transcriptions. You can find that other places. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what makes the song what it is, right? The harmony, the rhythm, the melody, how those all connect. And then we're going to look at 3 solos. 1 from the record, Jerry Garcia. 2 from a recording of the band doing it live. So another one, Jerry Garcia, this is from 91 at RFK, I think I have it pulled up. And then 3, another band that's similar, also doing it live. And the idea here is to see 3 different approaches, 2 by the original soloist and 1 by someone else who has a different interpretation. So that's obviously going to be Mayer. Now, what's cool about Eyes of the World is this. E major 7. This is our vibe. And it goes down to another spot of E major 7. Now, there is no one correct way to play this. I've seen Jerry play it a bunch of different places. I've seen him play it like this. So like a little G sharp minor triad, a C sharp minor triad, and then a G sharp minor triad like that. I've seen him go down like this, G sharp minor, F sharp, G sharp minor like that. Mayer loves to do these little dyads up here. And any combination thereof. The idea here is that we need to hammer out the D sharp. That's what makes it the major 7th. So that is in our descending line, no matter what. That's basically what it is. So you got to get that. Then, and E's pedaling throughout. Now the melody. We're in E major 7 here, right? So you might think that the melody is going to focus heavily on E major. It doesn't. Because here's the thing. It targets that major seventh, but that is the third of B. This melody goes up and down, creates tension and resolves it as B as the tonal center. That is what it feels like. So 1, 2, 3 from B. That's our goal, right? So come right here on here. Then it goes to A. And then ends on B. So you're sussing out this third when it's over E major 7. Then it resolves down to the major third of A when it goes to A, and then finally resolves to B over the E, which of course is the fifth. So that's the key takeaway here, right? Again, that's what's happening. So you got twice, and then it has this little move in here, B minor, A, over each, after each one, which really takes us out of key. It's a foreshadowing of the strange improv we're going to have to figure out in the future, because what happens in here? B minor, it should be B7, right? We should have a D sharp, right? D sharp. But when we have a B minor, that goes to D. So that is our first hint of things to come. That we know that this D sharp is the focus of our major melody, and that switches to D, and that's going to cause us some problems. Third hunting always, you know this. So then it does that twice. Then it goes to the second part where it goes. So it's A, and you got fifth of A, sharp 4, again, A Lydian. So this. You're thinking straight E Ionian here, with the exception of that B, right? Because you got that D sharp in here, going to what we think is our 6th chord, C sharp minor, and then down B major. Hello, now we're back in key, A major. So we got 1, 6, 5, 4, right? Do it again, back up to the 6. Major, major third, and then what do we get here out of nowhere? D major, and the melody switches to hit that D, and goes back to catch that major third of A. So it goes D to A, so the melody goes to the root of D, targeting, all the other notes have changed, just our D sharp switched to D. That's what happened here. We target the C sharp, the third of A to catch that, and then go into the G sharp, which is the third of E, and resolving on E there. So, again, it's all diatonic except for that one D, which is obviously the root of the D chord that changes. This gives us a little takeaway. Remember, I've told you this so many times. Learning the melody to every song that you learn is going to give you the answers to a lot of your questions about what do I play over this? What can I play? What just happened there is you saw a B minor come in and have that D sharp switch to D, and it was the third. And then you saw that D major come in, and you saw that D sharp switch to D, which is the root of that chord. So we immediately know when we go to take a lead over this or when we're taking melodies, we can jump into B minor or D major. They are relative majors and minors, and even those pentatonics, and we can get the flavor of that because we're making sure that we're not missing the D. We're not focusing on E's, right? We're focusing on that D sharp going to D. Now, then something wild happens. Then it goes up. It goes A, C major. These are strictly passing whatever, right? These are, we're trying to modulate to G. So now we're in G, and it's a 1-4-5 in G. Anyway, I just love this song. So it's a G, C, and D. It's a 1-4-5. Listen to it. There's pushes in there. The melody is all about the major third of G, or B. So B, D, E, G. Third, fifth, sixth, root, 6, 5. Then when it goes over to the 4 chord, hit that E. Again, third hunting. That's the third of your 4 chord. So resolving back to the third of G. So again, the story of the melody is 30 or 1 chord, 30 or 4 chord, 30 or 1 chord. And that just continues. When it does bump up to the 5 chord, to D, same thing. F sharp is your target. E is your target coming down, 30 or 4. B, the 30 or 5 chord, of your 1 chord of G is your target. So for the chorus, the target of each one of your chords is the third. You got to watch the little chromatic jumps in there, but that's pretty much it. And then when it comes out, and this is when we'll start playing the other stuff, it goes back to that B minor to A. And then a crazy thing happens. We go back and forth. We cycle over and over again, at least for the first part. E major 7 to B minor or B minor 7, however you want to flavor it. Point of the story is not that the root is E and then goes to B, right? It's that this D sharp switches to D, and you have to account for that. That's step 1. That's like the introduction. The other thing to watch out for, and I mentioned it before, and Jerry gives us this, right? And you'll see John do it. But these little hints that happened before, when it went to D major and it went to B minor in there, we can take extra liberties and not be strict chord tone soloists and borrow a little bit of some chord scale approach. Meaning, just because it would be easy to think we're playing E Ionian, so just E major straight up, and then when it goes to B minor, E Mixolydian, just change that 7th. Again, that's your entry level kind of, approach on where to start. What you can do is, again, focus on all of those upper pentatonics that make it what it is. E major 7 is E in the bass, G sharp minor on top, right? So you can play that, minor 7 is B with a D major on top. Right? And you can also switch because this is here. Again, D sharp. You can choose a little piece of B major versus B minor. You got options. You can choose the little D major with that G. It's getting hairy. Now let's check out how everybody does it. Oh man, I gotta use my finger thing. Here we go. I got 3 queued up. Let me start the camera again. All right, let's listen to Jerry take the first lead in the studio. All right, so what happens in here? Again, this is not note for note. I want you to listen to where the chords change, and I want you to listen to the note that changes right around that chord change, which sells it. I want you to listen for it, okay? You hear it? Now, let's get a touch of it, right? So coming right in on that D sharp, 7/6. Right? We're just spelling out. To me, I'm thinking B major here. Just because that seems like a real point of resolution. But I know he keeps cascading down. Yeah. And then, where's he go? You hear it right there. I missed the one before that, but you hear it right there. That's clear as day. He comes D sharp, switches right to D. And again, I'm assuming these are all improvised in the studio, and they just took the one that had the vibe, right? These aren't scripted leads. Hear it? That one is so killer. So he goes, slides up to that next D spot. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. We are in B minor, right? But if we were thinking E mixolydian, we'd be thinking G sharp in this bad boy. That's not what he does. He's thinking D major right here. I told you. Those are G's. He's thinking, right? Little piece of chord scale soloing. And how do you know he knows what he's doing? Because at the very end of it, goes right up. Right after he hits G and F sharp, slides into G sharp, which is the major third of E, And that's how he resolves it. Listen to it. Little bend. Little micro bend. I can't even do it. Do you get what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? You can think D major in there. You can think, E major all day. It's awesome. It's awesome. All right, next up. Let's do, this is from 6/17/91. So he's up in here. Pattern 1, E major, for those of you down with the caged, right? Doing all those chromatic things. No. Oh, sorry. All right, so he's just going straight for that B in there. So he goes, yeah, with that. I think I hear that little minor third. Yeah, hear him kind of stick and go. It's this little, there's so much little articulation in here. You can go bananas trying to figure this stuff out. Yeah. Okay, so he does it there. So we got. Again, shooting for that D. So you see that B minor triad? So he knows where all of his chords tones are, and he's jumping all over the place. Just selling the crap out of that D sharp, right? Our whole melody, remember, it really feels like it's in B, and that D sharp is the third of B. That's kind of where you feel it. So you're always going back to. It's just Jerry, man. fifth, push down to the major third, and just hitting those little bird calls on the 5. Hear how he starts switching right before the change? Like you get a little bit of the, it's like what I call playing, like pushing the change, right? Where you change right before the chord does, and your ear's like, what's going on? And it makes sense when you land it. You don't always have to change right with it. You can be right before or right after. Listen to it. These videos are so great. It's so great to have these. Because like you can see him going down, and he's hunting. That's the thing. It's not scripted out. He is fearlessly hunting. This is why I'm so hooked on this stuff right now, because for so long I've been so afraid of perfection and tied to it, right? The intent is different. Watch him. He's going down into pattern 4 here, right? And you can see he's in B minor, right? That's a funny little chord he just did. But then you see him reach major 3rd, 5th, major 7th. Like you can see him digging it out here, alternating between all these different intervals. There is no one scale for this. He is digging it out in real time. I just love that that's the intent of the music, and you go as long as you want to go for. Boom. Yeah, like that little move there. All these triads. G sharp minor. Move them up. And then just land on a B minor triad. Of course it works, right? You got that D in it. He's just sliding a minor triad, a minor 3rd up to reach the next spot. It works. I mean, I just love it. I just love it. All right, next one. Last one. We got Dead and Company. Let's see how Mayer tees off on this one. Let me make sure I have enough camera time. Yeah, let's do it. And again, listen to where the chords change and what the note is around it that sells it. That's the goal here, to be able to hear it first and then go back and dig it out. Remember when Jerry kind of started, he went very linear, making that sound like B major. And Mare's coming off like shooting for that G sharp, right? Much more E centered. Yeah. These licks are so hot. Little arpeggio, little D major. So here, it's kind of like, again, this would take me ages to figure this out note for note and remember it all like this in one take. But the key thing is, like, when you hear the change, what is changing? What do you hear that's changing? And you hear all this reaching for it there. Oh, those bends kill it. Hitting that G, but pushing up to get that G sharp. Just little bluesy flares in there, man. He is all over those. I think that's what he did. Like little E minor, D sharp, D, something like that. That. Again, B major arpeggio. You hear it switch to that D, you can hear it. you can clearly see he's thinking D major here. That. Yes, of course, D major is the top triad of B minor 7. But you see him choose to play that, right? Instead of... So again, you can play E major to D major, G sharp minor, to B minor. You can play B major to B minor. Really, it's just... To my ear, Mayer is playing more modal, more hearing your E's and G sharps as resolution points, where Jerry, I hear more B, like the melody, and the D sharp as the resolution point. Mayer seems to be, in my mind, pivoting off of the change from D to D sharp, where Jerry seems to be more often than not coming back to that off that melodic line. So much to learn in here. This is such a long video. I hope all of you stuck with me and enjoyed this. There's 17 more minutes, I think, of this lead. But here's the key takeaway. When you have songs like this that you're playing lead over, 1, learn the arrangement. 2, learn the melody. Figure out why the melody connects the chords and start there. Literally, you could take a solo over this, just all key-centered B, right? And just alternate your D for D sharps, and you're doing it. You're totally doing it. You don't have to think mixo versus Ionian or all that, and you certainly can. But what I would encourage you to do is to, once you know the melody and once you've learned the arrangements, take the time to figure out what you see Mayer and Jerry do, and that's connecting triads with basic melodies, using a lot of those chromatics to connect the chord tones. That, at its core, is what you're seeing. And that's why I made that whole Jerry course about that, the primer, that like this is where you start, because for me that is the key takeaway. Whether you see John doing it, like playing that piece of D major that connects to E major, or Jerry playing that piece of G sharp minor, which of course is E major 7, up to B minor triad. The point is they're seeing those chord tones in a triad cluster, and they're connecting the melodies or the chord tones with simple melodies, using a lot of chromaticism and flair and etc. Knowing where your thirds are at all times, especially when you're thinking in terms of B, which the melody seems to me to feel like it's in B, when it's D sharp, major third, or D, minor third. And those are my key takeaways. I know this is a very long-winded lesson, and I haven't done one of these deep dives in a while, but you could spend your whole life doing these. I know I'm going to. I know Mayer's doing that. You're probably doing it too. But I wanted to come on and I wanted to show you a couple things to think about when you're working on one of my favorite tunes that they do, Eyes of the World. I'm so excited that Dead & Company is going to be touring this summer. I will be there. I will be there the first week of the thing in Mexico with my wife. Pumped for that. So glad they added a second weekend. Didn't get tickets for Bristow, Virginia. I'm going to try. Might try to go to Hershey, I think is the other close one to me. So if you're going, please let me know. And as always, thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching and dropping the links in the comment. And if you'd like to learn more of this style stuff, you like the way I teach, you want to support the channel and join the community, GuitarGate is the first link in the description. It makes all this free stuff on YouTube possible. Yes, you get a Jerry Garcia primer, all of the courses and lessons, including the new original ones that are going to be coming out weekly, featuring me playing all the instruments in the barn here. And that's it. Have a great day, and just remember, just keep it in your hands. Cheers. Love it.